Let me focus, let me completely meditate with complete concentration, full concentration about that Lord. And he wants to see the Parthasarathi form of Lord. Now these are the closing verses. Now let us see. Sutuvacha Krishna evam bhagavati मनोवाग्दृष्टिवृत्तिभिः आत्मन्यात्मानमावेश्य सोऽन्तःश्वास उपारमत्. The Sutta Goswami says, Bhishma Pitamaha Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, evam only, Bhagavati unto him, manaha, with mind, vak, speech, drishtihi, sight, vrittivihi, activities, atmanihi, unto the super soul, Atmanam, the living being, Aveshyaha, having merged in, Saha, he, Antaha, Shwasaha, inhaling, Uparamad, became silent. So in this way, Lord Bhishma Deva merged himself in the Supreme Lord. When you say merged himself, means completely he is now focused in the Lord. Manasaha, Vachaha, Karmanaha. Here, which Karmanaha? Which actions? The actions where he is meditating on the Lord. Man with his mind, speech, sight, and thus he became silent, and his breath stopped. Thus ended the body of Bhishma Deva. Thus he stopped the body, breathing activity, and in this way he completely focused his mind, speech, everything in Lord. It has been given. Okay, Vimla, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Krishna eva Suta Uvacha Krishna evam Bhagavati Manovag Drishti Vrittibhehi Atmanyayatmanam Manam Aveshya So Antashvasa Uparmatu. Translation. Suta Goswami said, thus Bhishma Deva merged himself in the super soul, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with his mind, speech, sight, and action, and thus he became silent and his breathing stopped. Purport. The stage attained by Bhishma Deva while putting his material body is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, because he merged his self into thinking of the Lord and his mind into remembering his different activities. He chanted the glories of the Lord, and by his sight, he began to see the Lord personally present before him, and thus all his activities became concentrated upon the Lord without deviation. This is the highest stage of perfection, and it is possible for everyone to attain this stage by practice of devotional service. The devotional service of the Lord consists of 9 principles of service activities, and they are: first, hearing; second, chanting; third, remembering; fourth, serving the lotus feet; fifth, worshipping; sixth, praying; seventh, executing the orders; eighth, fraternizing; and ninth, fully surrendering. Any one of them or all of them are equally competent to award the desired result, but they require to be practiced persistently under the guidance of an expert devotee of the Lord. The first item, hearing, is the most important item of all, and therefore hearing of the Bhagavad Gita and later on Srimad Bhagavatam is essential for the serious candidates who wants to attain the stage of Bhishma Deva at the end. The unique situation at Bhishma Deva's time of death can be attained, even though Lord Krishna may not be personally present. His words of the Bhagavad Gita or those of Srimad Bhagavatam are identical with the Lord. They are sound incarnation of the Lord, and one can fully utilize them to be entitled to attain the stage of Sri Bhishma Deva, who was one of the 8 Vasus. Every man or animal must die at a certain stage of life, but one who dies like Bhishma Deva attains perfection, and one who dies forced by the laws of nature dies like an animal. That is the difference between a man and an animal. The human form of life is especially meant for dying like Bhishma Deva. Hare Krishna.
So death is also a wonderful stage where how a devotee is going to remember Krishna. If a devotee is always serving Krishna, Krishna takes it as a personal responsibility to somehow give devotion to him. Yadi vatadi doshena madbhakto mam nacha smarit aham smarami bhaktanayam paramamgati. Krishna never forgets the activities of devotees. That is why what is the duty of a devotee? Always serve Krishna when his body is healthy. Simple. So what is that most important incentive? Many times Narayan asks me, what is an incentive which makes you do? An incentive is at least at the time of death, let Krishna remember me. If I am not able to remember Krishna, let Krishna remember me. Isn't it? So that should be the incentive for every devotee. Now when the body is healthy, just do. Because we don't know at the time of death we are able to remember Krishna or not. But Krishna makes beautiful arrangement for a devotee to leave the body. That's why when the body is healthy, just work for Krishna. So it starts with chanting, hearing. It starts with hearing, chanting. The more we hear, the more we hear. So when we are reading, actually we are hearing also, no? When we are reading, even a person who is conducting the class is also hearing. So Srila Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, the actually personification of Krishna. When we are reading every verse of Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, we are with Krishna. We are with our acharyas. Prabhupada stays in the books. That is why books are persons. Books are the basis. Books are persons. Every verse is person. That is why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day serve. And we get the opportunity by means of our classes. So in this way we are at least studying. Then examination comes. This is all superficial. But real examination is, will I remember Lord? Like how Bhishma Deva completely concentrated himself in Lord. Will that stage come to me? If not, oh Lord, will you forget me? There's a nice Vayur Anidam Amusamathedam Basmantam Shariram Om Kuto Smara Kutam Smara Kuto Smara Kutam Smara. We have studied this in Ishopanishad. When the body merges, when the body is left, at the time everything merges with its cross elements. But oh Lord, never forget what I have done for you. Devotee reminds Lord, don't forget. That means in the next life, somehow give me devotional service. So devotees don't want to lose devotional service. That can be this birth, next birth. They're not afraid of the birth. But devotional service should not be lost. Okay, next. Sampadyamanam agyaya bhishmam. Sampadyamanam agyaya. Sampadyamanamagyaya bhishmam brahmani nishkale sarve babhuvuste tushnim vayam siva dinatyaye. Sampadyamanam, having merged into agyaya. After knowing this, Bhishma, about Sri Bhishma Deva, Brahmani, unto the Supreme Absolute, Nishkale, unlimited, Sarve, all present, Babhuhute, all of them, became Tushnim, silent, Vayamsi, even like birds, Dina Attiye, at the end of the day. So now, Bhishma Deva, he merged into the unlimited eternity of the Lord. And everybody there were completely silent. They were completely amazed seeing the meditation, concentration of Bhishma, and how Bhishma Deva very smoothly left his body. No, nothing. It is said by leaving the body, it is like thousands and thousands of crabs biting you. But one who is focused in Krishna, he is not at all bothered about any pains of the body, because he crosses the material level. The pain is for the body. If the mind is focused in Krishna, then he will never have the pain. That is why it is said, it is recommended, chant the holy name very nicely, sincerely, so that at the end, you can remember Krishna. Because Bhishma Deva leaving the body is not an ordinary scene. Everybody are surprised. He lying on the bed of arrows. It was not a smooth bed of arrows, so much of pain, and completely concentrating himself in Krishna. So that was a very wonderful and appreciable scene. That is why everybody were silent. Adi Satviki Mataji, you read.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम। संपद्य मानमागाय भीष्मं ब्रह्मणि निष्कले सर्वे बाभुवुस्ते तुष्णीं भयांसि वा दिनाथवये। Translation and purport by Shloka Upas. Shloka Upas ki jai. Translation. Knowing that Bhishma Deva had merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute, all present there became silent like birds at the end of the day. Purport. To enter into or to become merged into the unlimited eternity of the Supreme Absolute means to enter the original home of the living being. The living beings are all component parts and parcels of the Absolute Personality of Godhead, and therefore they are eternally related with Him as the servitor and the served. The Lord is served by all His parts and parcels as the complete machine is served by its parts and parcels. Any part of the machine removed from the whole is no longer important. Similarly, any part and parcel of the Absolute detached from the service of the Lord is useless. The living beings who are in the material world are all disintegrated parts and parcels of the Supreme Whole, and they are no longer as important as the original parts and parcels. There are, however, more integrated living beings who are eternally liberated. The material energy of the Lord, called Durga Shakti, or the superintendent of the prison house, takes charge of the disintegrated parts and parcels, and thus they undergo a conditioned life under the laws of material nature. When the living being becomes conscious of this fact, he tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and thus the spiritual urge of the living being begins. The spiritual urge is called Brahma Jigyasa, or inquiry about Brahman. Principally, this Brahma Jigyasa is successful by knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service to the Lord. Jnana, or knowledge, means knowledge of everything of Brahman, the Supreme. Renunciation means detachment of material affection. And devotional service is the revival by practice of the original position of the living being. The successful living beings who are eligible to enter into the realm of the Absolute are called the Gyanis, the Yogis, and the Bhaktas. The Gyanis and Yogis enter into the impersonal rays of the Supreme, but the Bhaktas enter into the spiritual planets known as the Vaikunthas. In these spiritual planets, the Supreme Lord as Narayana predominates, and the healthy, unconditional living beings live there by rendering loving service to the Lord in the capacity of servant, friend, parents, and fiancé. There are unconditioned living beings enjoy life in full freedom with the Lord, whereas the impersonalist Gyanis and Yogis enter into the impersonal glowing effulgence of the Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha planets are all self-illuminating like the sun, and the rays of Vaikuntha planets are called the Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti is spread unlimitedly, and the material world is but a covered portion of an insignificant part of the same Brahmajyoti. This covering is temporary, and therefore it is sort of illusion. Bhishmadeva, as a pure devotee of the Lord, entered the spiritual realm in one of the Vaikuntha planets, where the Lord, in his eternal form of Parthasarathi, predominates over the unconditional living beings who are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. The love and affection which bind the Lord and devotees are exhibited in the case of Bhishmadeva. Bhishmadeva never forgot the Lord in his transcendental feature as the Parthasarathi. And the Lord was present personally before Bhishmadeva while he was passing to the transcendental world. That is the highest perfection of life. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yeah, so here very nicely it has been given why the word bird has been given, because birds are considered to be the most ignorant people. So according to the ignorant people, the day goes, but day doesn't go. The time never stops. Time is always eternal. We think, okay, one day has gone, but our next day is going to come. So those people who were ignorant, they thought that Bhishmadeva has attained liberation. Bhishmadeva is merged in Brahman. No, Bhishmadeva never desired that. In fact, Bhishmadeva is eternally present. Knowledgeable people, they know that he is eternally present in Parthasarathi Loka, where Lord always appears with the rein in his in one hand, and is always as a Parthasarathi. And there, eternally, Bhishmadeva is there on the opposite side and looking at the beautiful form of Krishna. That is what Bhishmadeva wanted. But ignorant people, they think that he has merged in Brahman. That is why the birds, this word birds have come. That means thinking that he has merged in Brahman. He has not merged in Brahman. He did not desire also. He did not want liberation. He did not want to merge in Brahma Jyoti. In fact, he always eternally wants to serve Krishna. Okay, 45th verse. Tatra dundu bhayo nedur devamanava vaditaha shashamsu sadhavo ragyam khatpayetu pushpavrushtayaha. Tatha, thereafter, dundubhaya, drums, neduhu, they sounded. Devaha, the demigods from other planets. Manavaha, men from all countries. Vaditaha, beaten by. Shashamsu, praised. Sadhava, honest. Ragyam, by the royal order. Khat, from the sky. Petu, began to fall. Pushpa vrishtihi, showers of flowers. So men and the demigods, they sounded drums in honor. Was Pitama, the greatest personality in the Kaura dynasty. So they sounded the drums in honor. The honest royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect. And from the sky fell showers of flowers. That is how Sadhavaha Rakyam, those who were without hatred among the kings, everybody praised and everybody gave their respectful honor to Bhishmadeva. And Pushpa Vrishti was done. Now, what is Pushpa Vrishti? It is the recognition, the sign of recognition by the demigods. The Prabhupada writes. Okay, Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Tatra dundibhayo nedur deva manava vaditaha sasamsu sadhavo ragyam khatpetuhu pushpa vrishtayaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, both men and demigods sounded drums in honor, and the honest royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect. And from the sky fell showers of flowers. Purport. Bhishma Deva was respected both by the human beings and by the demigods. The human beings live on Earth and similar other planets in the Bhur and Bhuvar group of planets. But the demigods live in the Shwar or heavenly planets. And all of them know Bhishma Deva as a great warrior and the devotee of the Lord. As a Mahajana or authority, he was on the level of Brahma, Narada, and Shiva. Although he was a human being, qualification on a par with the great demigods is possible only on attainment of spiritual perfection. Thus, Bhishma Deva was known all over the universe, and during this time, interplanetary level was affected by finer methods than the futile endeavors of mechanical spacecraft. When the distant planets were informed of the passing of Bhishma Deva, all the inhabitants of the upper planets as well as the earth dropped showers of flowers to show due respect to the departed great personality. This showering of flowers from heaven is a sign of recognition by great demigods, and it should never be compared to the decoration of a dead body. The body of Bhishma Deva lost its material effects due to be surcharged with spiritual realization, and thus the body was spiritualized as when iron becomes red hot when in contact with fire. The body of a full self realized soul is not, therefore, accepted as material. Special ceremonies are observed for such spiritual bodies. The respect and recognition of Bhishma Deva are never to be imitated by artificial means, as it has become a fashion to observe the so called Jayanti ceremony for every common man. According to authorized sastras, such as Jayanti ceremony for an ordinary man, however exalted he may be materially, is an offense to the Lord, because Jayanti is reserved for the day when the Lord appears on the earth. Bhishma Deva was the unique in his activities, and his passing away to the kingdom of Lord is also unique. Hare Krishna.
So this Jayanti word is only for Lord, Krishna Jayanti. When you say Janmashtami, Krishna Jayanti, it is not some pity for any materialistic person. So here for Mahatma Gandhi has been spoken. Prabhupada says it's not Mahatma, it's Duratma. That is why this Jayanti word is not for anyone and everyone. It is
But
only
Mataji,
for
when it
Lord.
comes to Gandhi Jayanti, and we call in that way also,
No,
but they
it
are
should
not
not be called.
spiritually.
No. It is because of him only today the country is suffering. Okay. Tasya nirharanadini samparitasya bhargava yudhishthira karayitva muhurtam dukkhito bhavat. Tasya his nirharana adini funeral ceremony samparitasya of the dead body bhargava, O descendant of Bhrigu, Yudhishthira, Maharaj Yudhishthira, Karayitva, having performed it, Muhurtam, for a moment, Dukkitaha, sorry, Abhavat became. So Yudhishthira Maharaj performed the last rites. O Shaunakadi Rishi, descendant of Bhrigu. Now Sutta Goswami says, after performing the funeral rites for the dead body of Bhishma Deva, Maharaj Yudhishthira was momentarily overtaken with grief. Okay. Kamalakshmi Mataji, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Tasya nirharana adini samprateshya bhargava yudhishthira karayitva muhurtam tukkitva abhavat. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. Translation. For descendant of Bhrigu, Saunaka, after performing funeral rituals for the dead body of Bhishma Deva, Maharaja Yudhishthira was momentarily overtaken with grief. Purport. Vishnudeva was not only a great family head of Maharaja Yudhishthira, but also he was a great philosopher and friend to him, his brothers and his mother. Since Maharaja Pandu, the father of the 5 brothers headed by Maharaja Yudhishthira, had died, Bhishmadeva was the most affectionate grandfather of the Pandavas and caretaker of the widow daughter-in-law Kundi Devi. Although Maharaja Dhritarashtra, the elder uncle of Maharaja Yudhishthira, was there to look after them, his affection was more on the side of his 100 sons, headed by Duryodhana. Unlimitedly, a colossal clique was fabricated to describe the 5 fatherless brothers of the rightful claim of the kingdom of Hastinapura. There was great intrigue common in imperial palace, and the 5 brothers were exiled to the wilderness.
Okay, okay, one minute. From here, Gajendra Sutta Prabhu, you read.
But Bhishmadeva was always a sincerely sympathetic, well-wisher grandfather, friend and philosopher of young Maharaj Yudhishthira. Even to the last moment of his life, he died very happily by seeing Maharaj Yudhishthira to the throne. Otherwise, he would have long ago quitted his material body. Instead of suffering agony over the undue sufferings of the Pandavas, he was simply waiting for the opportune moment because he was sure and certain that the son of Pandu would come out victorious in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As his lordship Sri Krishna was the protector, as a devotee of the Lord, know that the Lord's duty cannot be vanquished at any time. Maharaj Yudhishthira was quite aware of all these good wishes of Bhishmadev, and therefore he must have been feeling the great separation. He was sorry for the separation of the great soul, and not for the material body, which Bhishmadeva relinquished. The funeral ceremony was a necessary duty, although Bhishmadeva was a liberated soul. Since Bhishmadeva was without issue, the eldest grandson, namely Maharaj Yudhishthira, was the rightful person to perform this ceremony. It was a great boon to Bhishmadeva that an equally great son of the family undertook the last rites of a great man. Hare Krishna.
तुष्टु वुर्मुनयो हृष्टा कृष्णं तद् गुह्यनामभिः ततस्ते कृष्णहृदया स्वाश्रमान् प्रहयु पुनः. To satisfy Tushtubuhu Muneha, great sages headed by Vyasdeva, etc. Rishtaha, all in a happy mood. Then Krishnam, unto Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, Tat his Guhya, confidential, Namabhi, by his holy name, etc. Tataha, thereafter, they, Krishna Hridayaha, persons who always bear Lord Krishna in their hearts, Swashraman, to the respective hermitages, Prayuyu, return Punah again. So all the great sages, they glorified Krishna, who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns, and then all they returned to their respective hermitage, bearing always Krishna in their heart. That has been given here. So everybody returned to their respective hermitages. Tad Guhya Namavihi. So in this way, Lord is very affectionate. Tad Guhya Namavihi. He is controlled by prema. We offer respects to your affectionate nature. So what are they taking in their heart? The Lord's compassionate and affectionate nature, that how Krishna is bound by the love of the devotees. So this Leela shows that how Bhishmadeva, they were bound to Krishna within his heart by his complete surrenderance and love. So this Leela, they kept in their heart and they returned to their hermitage. Okay, Kusum, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Tustu Rishta Krishnam Tadguya Namavihi Tataste Krishna Hridaya Swasraman Prayayu Punaha. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns. Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages, bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts. Purport: the devotees of the Lord are always in the heart of the Lord, and the Lord is always in the hearts of the devotees. That is the sweet relation between the Lord and his devotees. Due to unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord, the devotees always see him within themselves and the Lord also, although he has nothing to do and nothing to aspire to, is always busy in attending to the welfare of his devotees. For the ordinary living beings, the law of nature is there for all actions and reactions, but he is always anxious to put his devotees on the right path. The devotees, therefore, are under the direct care of the Lord, and the Lord also voluntarily puts himself under the care of his devotees only. So all the sages headed by Vyasadeva were devotees of the Lord, and therefore they chanted the Vedic hymns after the funeral ceremony just to please the Lord who was present there personally. All the Vedic hymns are chanted to please Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc. are seeking Him only, and all hymns are for glorifying Him only. The sages therefore performed the exact acts suitable for the purpose, and they happily departed for the respective hermitages. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. No voice.
Okay. ततो युधिष्ठिरो गत्वा सह कृष्णो गजावयं पितरं सान्त्वयाम् आस गान्धारीं च तपस्विनीं. So thereafter Yudhishthir Maharaj Gatva, going there, Saha with Krishna the Lord, Gajhavayam, in the capital named Gajhavya, that is Hastinapur, Pitaram, unto his uncle Dhritarashtra, Santvayam, Asaha, consoled Gandharim, the wife of Dhritarashtra, Cha Tapasvinim, she's an ascetic lady. So Maharaj Yudhishthir went to the capital Hastinapur along with Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, who is an ascetic lady. Okay. See, the word for Dhritarashtra is Pitaram. Pitaram. That is uncle. Pitaram. Okay. Who will read? Ashoka Nija Prabhu, can you read? You have joined now. Okay, Vimla, you read?
Yes, I can.
Okay, read.
Hare Krishna. Tato yudhishthiro gatva sah krishno gajahayam pitram santvayamasa gandharim cha tapasvinim.
Gandharim.
Gandharim cha tapasvinim.
It's not cha, it is cha.
Gandharim cha tapasvinim.
Read.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thereafter, Maharaj Yudhishthir at once went to his capital Hastinapur, accompanied by Lord Shri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who is an ecstatic. Purport. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, the father and the mother of Duryodhana, and his brothers were the elder uncle and aunt of Maharaj Yudhishthir. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the celebrated couple, having lost all their sons and grandsons, were under the care of Maharaj Yudhishthir. They were passing their days in great agony over such a heavy loss of life and were practically living the life of ascetics. The death news of Bhishma Deva, uncle of Dhritarashtra, was another shock for the king and the queen, and therefore they required solace from Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir was conscious of his duty, and he at once hurried to the spot with Lord Krishna and satisfied the bereaved Dhritarashtra with kind words from both himself and the Lord also. Gandhari was a powerful ascetic, although she was living the life of a faithful wife and a kind mother. It is said that Gandhari also voluntarily closed her eyes because of the blindness of her husband. A wife's duty is to follow the husband sent person, and Gandhari was so true to her husband that she followed him even in his perpetual blindness. Therefore, in her actions, she was a great ascetic. Besides that, the shock she suffered because of the wholesale killing of her 100 sons and her grandsons also was certainly too much for a woman. But she suffered all this just like an ascetic. Gandhari, although a woman, is no less than Bhishma Deva in character. They are both remarkable personalities in the Mahabharata. Hare Krishna.
So Gandhari is also appreciated. Gandhari is also not less than Bhishma Deva. She is also doing equal tapasya. In fact, she was advising every time for not performing any adharma, what to do. She was not heard. But she is a very chaste lady. Pitara chanumato raja vasudeva chakara rajam dharmena pitrupaita maham vibhuhu. Pita, by his uncle Dhritarashtra, and Hanumataha, with his approval, Raja, King Yudhishthir, Vasudeva Anumoditaha, confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna, Chakara, executed, Rajyam, the kingdom, Dharmena, in compliance with the codes of royal order principles, Pitruhu, father, then Paitamaham, forefather, Vibhuhu, as great as. After this, the great religious king, Maharaj Yudhishthir, executed the royal power in the kingdom, strictly according to the codes and royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna. So he started ruling the kingdom strictly according to the codes, rules set up by and the principles approved by his uncle. Just see how nice he is. His uncle was Dhritarashtra was so envious, but still he used to ask for the approval to his uncle, considering his uncle to be his father, and then confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna. That is why devotee's heart is always wonderful. It's not weak, it is soft. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunistatra samasate sura. Describing the beautiful nature of Arjuna in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we find this verse in the purport, where softness of heart has been described, where Arjuna says, they are my people. He did not say they are Kauravas. His uncle did that. He differentiated. But he used to say, oh, they are my person. Now they are my people. How am I going to kill them? So that is the beautiful nature, soft nature of the devotees. So this soft-heartedness became the qualification for Arjuna to receive the knowledge. In the same way, Yudhishthira Maharaj has also beautiful soft nature. That is why the soft-hearted, sarvair gunistatra samasati sura, all the good qualities are present in a pure devotee. That is how he doesn't differentiate between his person, my person. No, his heart has no enviousness, no hatred. That is how he is taking approval also, confirmation also. It's the last verse. Okay, we'll read. Vimla, can you read?
Shall I read Mataji?
Okay. You read the verse, Vimla will read the purport. Read the verse.
Pitra chanumate raja vasudeva chakara rajam dharmena pitrupaita maham vibhuhu.
Read Vimla. Translation, purport.
Yes. Translation. After this, The great religious king Maharaja Yudhishthir executed the royal power in the kingdom strictly according to the codes and royal principles approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Shri Krishna. Purport: Maharaj Yudhishthir was not a mere tax collector. He was always conscious of his duty as a king, which is no less than that of a father or a spiritual master. The king is to see to the welfare of the citizens from all angles of social, political, economic, and spiritual upliftment. The king must know that human life is meant for liberating the encaged soul from the bondage of material conditions, and therefore his duty is to see that the citizens are properly looked after to attain this higher stage of perfection. Maharaj Yudhishthir followed these principles strictly, as will be seen from the next chapter. Not only did he follow the principles, but he also got approval from his old uncle, who was experienced in political affairs, and that was also confirmed by Lord Krishna, the speaker of the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj Yudhishthir is the ideal monarch, and monarchy under a trained king like Maharaj Yudhishthir is by far the most superior form of government, superior to modern republics or governments of the people by the people. The mass of people, especially in this age of Kali, are all born Shudras, basically low born, ill trained, unfortunate, and badly associated. They themselves do not know the highest perfectional aim of life. Therefore, votes cast by them actually have no value, and thus persons elected by such irresponsible votes cannot be responsible representatives like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Thus end the Bhakti Vedant purports of the first canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Passing Away of Bhishma Deva in the Presence of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Any doubts in this? You can ask. And the examination for 7, 8, 9 will be after 2 weeks. Okay.
One question I have, Mataji, can I ask?
Yeah.
Mataji, in 43 number verse, translation, thus Bhishma Deva merged himself in the super soul. Normally we say we go to backhead and Godhead and go
That
to
is why it
God.
is written,
We
yeah,
don't
birds.
merge in the super soul. So how do we
Just
take
by-
this interpretation?
Just by this word merge, many of the ignorant people think it is merging in Brahman.
Yes,
It
that
has
is the
not
doubt
been,
I also
that is
get.
what, it has been clearly mentioned. No. Merge means merging his consciousness. Merge means merging his consciousness and attaining he never desired that I should merge in Brahman. He has gone to the Parthasarthi Loka, where eternally he is serving Krishna. Okay?
Okay.
Mataji,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. But why? Because Krishna was in front of him. Why didn't he attain Goloka? Why did he go to?
What is your problem? Krishna is not there in Parthasarthi Loka. What is the meaning of Goloka? And these words here and there we read, then we become like mad people. Krishna is not there in Vaikuntha.
Yes.
Krishna is not there in other lokas.
Yes.
Goloka is a place where Krishna is there. Goloka can extend to Parthasarthi Loka.
Okay.
So we should not become very fanatic over the words. Somebody told Mataji, I don't want Vaikuntha. I want to go to Goloka. I told first you get Vaikuntha first. As if it's so easy.
Yes.
Crossing Virja itself is not so easy. Attaining even Brahmajyoti is not so easy. We speak of Goloka and all these things. What time? Goloka, it is Gopis should allow us in Golok. It's not that we going. Wherever the conscious, somebody likes Krishna's Rama form, he can go to Saket if he's really too devotee. So what is the problem? If he's going to Saket, if he's going to Navadip, what is the problem? Whatever consciousness the the devotee loves, in whatever form the devotee loves, whatever Leela devotee loves. And then it should be pure enough also to be taken back. Just because ISKCON devotees means all should go to Goloka. Come out of all these theories first. Lord is present in every loka. Every spiritual loka, Lord is present. What type of consciousness we have while leaving the body, that matters. Okay. While chanting Om Namo Narayana, his consciousness is the gopis. Then, they say, oh, he chanted Narayana, how can he go to Goloka? One of the purport Prabhupada says, don't find difference between Vasudeva, Narayana, Krishna, they are one person. Sometimes you become very allergic to the word Narayana, very allergic to the word Vasudeva, seeing them as different persons. No, one same person. Sometimes we even become allergic to see Lord lying position. How can you lie? You should stand in the three-bended form. Na? Why always you will stand like that only or what? He cannot lie down. All this is fanatic ideas. The fanatic thoughts. It is the consciousness, the pure consciousness of the rasa. And what rasa a person loves Krishna. And then how is he accepted by the family of Krishna? That also matters. The family should take us inside. We are not able to go to our neighbor's family. It's not so easy to enter a family where Krishna's sweetness is exhibited. What actually we take darshan every day of Radha Govindo or Radha Sham Sundar, actually as a sadhaka we are taking darshan of Lakshmi Narayana, opulence of Krishna. Yet we don't know sweetness of Krishna. That is very important. What sweetness we can even think of. Can you throw a chapati towards Krishna, eat? We are not able to do that. There are some pure Vrajavasis, they throw chapati at Krishna. Khare Lala, we are able to do that? We cannot do. We should not also. That type of affinity, sahaja, comes to very pure devotees who stay even today in Vrindavan. Very higher stage. All the time, mora lala, khare, khare. मैं खा जल्दी मारूंगी नहीं. Can we speak? We cannot. And we should not. So better is, this is what we have to think of how to cross Virja first. With a pure mind, pure intelligence, pure ego. Still we are not cleaned from our heart. Okay. So Bhishma Deva, when he attained Parthasarthi Loka, it is extension of Goloka only. Krishna is present, na? The only difference is there the opulence of Krishna is seen. That is the only little difference is there. Not a big difference. But any of devotees love Krishna. He wanted this form. But again understand, Bhishma Deva reminded Krishna of the gopis of Vrindavan. And that too where? In the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So there is no difference. It's not a big difference. Okay. Any other doubt?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, tell.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Humble request, like Bhakti Satri certificate is there. We would like to go for asking.
Yeah, your certificate is in Delhi. It is coming. Every day I am following up.
So that I can request the the Guru Maharaj for Brahminical initiation. That's what I was saying.
Vanchakalpataru Vishak Pasim Patikanam Pavani Viveshna